Our nation's security has never been stronger because our troops and our veterans are this nation's backbone. Because farmers are this nation's backbone, schools is this nation's backbone. Audio installation specialists and window tinters are this nation's backbone. Because Filipino tilt-a-whirl operators are this nation's backbone.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Speechless. I'm your host, Phares, 23-year-old conservative student at Liberty University, law student currently, and obviously your host of Speechless here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, wherever you guys are watching right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. And before we get into everything, I want to make sure that I remind you guys to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. I'd appreciate it because we're going to talk about a lot of things here today. And if you guys checked out that video at the very beginning, you might have recognized it. It's from a movie called The Campaign. Will Ferrell, Zach Galifianakis, pretty funny, from like the early 2010s, late 2000s, somewhere around that time period. Really funny movie. And I always find that scene, and I've referenced it on my show before, and I find that scene to be perfectly emblematic of exactly what is happening right now in the American political system. The American political system, it's not only election season, it's pandering season. That's the theme of this show. Pandering. You hear that word a lot. We have it on our nightly news in which everybody accuses everybody of pandering. And not to excuse it by any means, but isn't that what politics kind of is? No politician ever wins running entirely on their beliefs as they exactly see them. Now, what do I mean by that? Because this might burst some of your bubbles out there. This might burst some of your bubbles. You might be sitting there being like, oh my gosh, no, I really thought my politician cared about Filipino tilt-a-whirl workers. I really thought that. Or I really thought when I got that text saying, this is Donald Trump and I'm inviting you down to Mar-a-Lago for just a small, if you could just donate that $1 right here, I'm going to enter you a chance to win. I really thought that he was doing that. No, we're being pandered to by both sides. Doesn't necessarily make it right, but what does that mean? What does it mean to be pandered to? And if it's happening, which it is, then what do we do with that? We're going to talk about that all here today, but I want to start with the simple definition. What is pandering? What are simple examples of what it looks like? Well, pandering, it's pretty simple. It's the idea that somebody is doing something. If you're being pandered to, somebody is doing something to you that isn't necessarily what they believe, or they're going beyond what they believe. They're doing what they think you want for personal gain. And of course that's what, and when I say that this is exactly what politics essentially is to some extent, wouldn't that make sense? Every politician wants to win. No politician believes ardently every single issue that they are coming out with. If they're being asked a question on climate change, but their life and what sparked them to come into office was tax code, and they're being asked a question on climate change, they're going to act pretty passionate about climate change, or pretty passionate about whatever their opinion is on climate change, because it's the question asked of them, and they know that there's somebody out there that's watching where that's that person's number one issue. One person out there is watching saying, hey, oh my gosh, like I really care what Tim Walz has to say about climate change. And if that person is watching this show, I'd be very, very surprised. And I'd tell you to seek help. You need it. But I digress. The point being is, of course, people are going to pander, but there is a line that gets crossed. Now, what are some of the most famous examples of pandering that we've seen? If you've ever watched Kamala Harris speak in the North versus the South, the way she talks to people is very much different. Honestly, Kamala Harris might be the queen of pandering. And we're going to look at some of those examples. But other examples that we can think about first, during the George Floyd protests we got, and the after George Floyd's overdose, we got to see a vast array of pandering examples, such as all of those Democrat congressmen and senators on their knees with their African garb, fists up in the air. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Anybody who posted a black square on their Instagram like it was Passover and they were worried about their firstborn being slaughtered if they didn't. Pandering. And Kamala Harris is pandering to pretty much anybody she possibly can right now because she knows she's not doing very well in the polls. And so we're going to start off this episode. The first thing I really want to bring into this is the idea of pandering that happened and the idea of pandering, but also how Kamala Harris refutes her own pandering within a week of one another. And it's really easy to see. And if you see me looking off or anything, as some of you may know, if you're a consistent watcher of the show, you know I produce my own show. And so I have a screen right here, a screen right there. And so I'm making sure I have things pulled up. But when we talk about pandering, Kamala Harris is a perfect example. The very first thing that we're going to watch is an example of how Kamala Harris panders. But don't worry, everybody. Eventually, the truth always comes out. And so we're going to start off with this edition of The Headline versus the Truth. In this edition of The Headline versus the Truth, we're going to start off with the headline. And that's the idea, which we've all heard this headline before. It's not one specific news story, that Democrats, especially Kamala, are tolerant of all people and that all are free under Kamala's presidency. And we preach tolerance and love and joy. There's the headline. And we're going to start off with an example of that in which, so Kamala Harris, you might have heard, skipped the Al Smith dinner, which is a charity dinner hosted by Catholics. And this is the video that Kamala Harris brought up for this dinner. So she didn't attend. No, she couldn't be bothered to attend the Catholic dinner. But this is the video that she sent in lieu of actually giving a speech. Let's take a look and a listen.
Guests. The Al Smith dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's going on? Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Mary Catherine Elliott. Mary Catherine Elliott. It's so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Was that supposed to be a joke? Like one of the biggest dinners since the Last Supper? I don't know. If it was, it wasn't very funny.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I simmer them like that. But that's gross.
So tell me something. I'm giving a speech. Do you have some thoughts about what I might say tonight?
My feelings about what you should say tonight would be best expressed in a monologue from one of my favorite made-for-TV series.
Okay, let's hear it.
What's she doing with
man?
her
We
arms?
need a woman to represent us. A woman brings more heart, more compassion. And think how smart she must be to become a top contender in a field dominated by men. It's time for a woman, bro. And with this woman, we can fly.
What series was that from?
Oh, that's from House of Dragons, now streaming on HBO Max.
Is there anything that you think that maybe
This is
I
not
shouldn't
funny.
bring up
Like,
tonight?
this is, I
Well,
think
don't
this is
lie.
supposed to be
Thou
funny. But
shalt
it's
not
probably one
bear
of the
false witness to thy neighbor.
cringiest things I've
Indeed,
ever seen.
especially thy neighbor's election results.
That was
Just so you
supposed
know,
to
there
be that was supposed to be a hit on Trump. Like they don't lie, and then the election result. There's supposed to be a hit on Trump, but it fell flat. You want to know why? Because the acting is awful. in all of this. Like this is the least genuine thing I've ever seen.
Will be a fact checker there tonight.
Oh, that's great. Who?
Jesus. And maybe don't say anything negative about Catholics.
I would never do that, no matter where I was. That would be like criticizing Detroit in Detroit.
Also supposed to be a hit on Trump, criticizing Detroit in Detroit. The difference is you were invited to a Catholic dinner to speak to Catholics, not criticize them. Detroit is run by a Democrat. If a Republican is going to go speak there about how we need change, maybe he shouldn't go and talk about like how, oh, it's just so great under Democrat rule, especially when crime is bad. People love their home and they don't like that there's crime there. And so criticism is worthy. When it comes to Catholics inviting you to a Catholic charity dinner, yeah, maybe don't. It's just a false analogy. And it's really kind of sad that especially somebody who has a law degree, it could be so mind-numbingly stupid.
Does it bother you that Trump guy insults you all the time? Because it really bothers my friends and me.
Oh, Mary Catherine, it's very important to always remember you should never let anyone tell you who you are. You tell them who you are.
Haters gonna hate, hate, hate. Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off.
This is the
That is
cringiest
you,
thing.
Mary
They're
Catherine.
ready.
Oh, yeah, okay. And also remember one more thing. Don't worry if you make a mistake.
This is the cringiest thing I've ever seen. So like, if you guys are out there watching right now, let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? What is something that is cringier than this? Just let me know. Let me know.
Catholic people are very
Really?
forgiving. Yeah. And also, one last thing I want to tell you, don't forget to say superstar.
Thank you, Mary Catherine.
Thank you, Kamala.
Thank you.
Mamala. Oh,
Your
shut up.
Eminence and distinguished guests, the Al Smith dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship and come together to do some good by supporting the tremendous charitable work of the Catholic Church. The Church cares for the sick and feeds the hungry, supports families with housing and education, and in times of disaster provides not only essential supplies, but also, and so importantly, a sense of hope. The Gospel of Luke tells us that faith has the power to shine a light on those living in darkness and to guide our feet in the path of peace. In the spirit of tonight's dinner, let us recommit to reaching across divides to seek understanding and common ground. And in honor of the great Al Smith, let us fight to build a better future with faith in God, our country, and in each other. Thank you. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
Okay, so that was incredibly cringy, but it speaks, the reason why it was cringy and the reason why this is important is because it speaks to the pandering that Kamala is doing in this. And if you want to know that it's pandering, well, let's go back to a point in here. She says, let's see this.
Oh, that's great. Who?
Jesus. And maybe don't say anything negative about Catholics.
Right.
In Detroit.
Does it bother you that
Watch
Trump
this.
guy insults
Listen to
you
what
all
she
the time?
says
Because it
here.
really bothers my friends and me.
Oh, Mary Catherine, it's very important to always remember you should never let anyone tell you
No.
who you are.
Don't do that.
You tell them who you are.
tell them.
Haters gonna hate, hate.
You tell them who you are. Thank you, Kamala. I agree with at least that part. And so that's why we should look at things like this. Well, if you don't know, Catholics, who she was speaking to in that video are like the largest organized group of pro-life activists in the country. Well, Kamala Harris rejects allowing religious exemptions for abortions. Maybe we should believe who she is because she's telling us. Yes, Vice President Kamala Harris rejected the idea of allowing religious exemptions if she becomes president. Harris, let's talk about what that actually means too. Harris, who has already indicated that she is willing to blow up the Senate filibuster to ram through her agenda, signaled support for an even more extreme measure during an NBC News interview that aired Tuesday night. Interviewer Hallie Jackson asked Harris if she would be willing to offer concessions on abortion to get legislation passed to protect access to it. Religious exemptions, for example, is that something you would consider? She said, I don't think we should be making concessions when we're talking about a fundamental freedom to make decisions about your own body. A basic freedom has been taken from the women of America and the freedom to make decisions about their own body, she claimed, and that cannot be negotiable, which is that we need to put back in protections of Roe v. Wade, and that's it. Wow. That's actually further than the protections of Roe v. Wade. First off, so she's not being clear as to whether or not, but also in a stunning move from Kamala Harris, in negating her pandering to Catholics, she instead panders to women. In this, what a stunning move from Kamala, and honestly a quite unexpected one. She goes from one moment being, oh, Catholics, you're so great, we need Catholics, they're cool, in the cringiest way ever and the least authentic way ever, to quickly being like, no, we need to protect a fundamental right of women to control their own body, instead of protecting the fundamental right of religious practice. Yes, again, not allowing religious exemptions for abortion. The extreme policy would force people of faith to carry out abortions even if they object to it because of their religious beliefs. And then if you want to even go a step further, and this is the one I truly believe, because this is Kamala following the rhetoric of the teleprompter, just like the first one. Pander to the Catholics, pander to the women. Even if they conflict, who cares? Because to her, the American people don't have the cognitive ability to remember what she just said and compare it to what she said after. But this next example, this is the one I would truly believe to be the prime example of the truth. Remember, this segment is called The Headline versus the Truth. This is the perfect example of the truth, everybody, because this is off the cuff. This is not off the teleprompter for the first time. Kamala Harris tells you exactly who she is. Don't let other people tell you who you are. Tell them who you are. Kamala Harris.
With the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
If you didn't hear that in the background, they said Christ is Lord, or Jesus is Lord. And then her response.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
And then they get removed.
No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
It wasn't smaller. Oh, what an own from Kamala Harris. Also, in another stunning move from the Harris campaign, not only does she pander to Christians and then want to revoke religious exemptions for an inherently anti-Christian act, now, off the cuff, in a stunning move from a presidential candidate, she tells people at her own rally not to vote for her, that she's not their candidate, which is just so fascinating to me. Because for somebody who has been so good at pandering, this is the one time where she failed. The one time where Kamala Harris failed to pander. Because she showed you who she really is. She told you. She defined herself for one of the first times in her entire campaign. Instead of letting the teleprompter, the Democratic platform, the script, or Donald Trump tell you who she is, she finally told you who she is. And she, at a very base level, is anti-Christian. I'm not saying she's the Antichrist. I'm not saying that. But she is, at a minimum, not pro-Christian. You're at the wrong rally, she says. You're at the wrong rally. Kamala, the fascinating panderer, has shown us who she really is. Who are you? And who do you plan on voting for? Let me know what you guys think about all this pandering. And the pandering we're going to talk about soon. We are also going to talk about, like I've said, like you might have noticed, we're going to talk about, I'm messing with this a little bit, seeing what I want to look like as we're coming up here. Oh, that's an option. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. No, let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking about all this. What you think. We're going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard joining the Republican Party. Is it good? Is it bad? In between. I don't know yet. Stay tuned. We're also going to talk about Obama in another stunning statement from the former president, just showing how much he lacks self-awareness. I think it's going to be real fun for all of us. Tim Walz on The View, Trump being the best McDonald's fry cook ever. And then we're going to do some reactions to some things some people sent me. And so that's always going to be fun. If you guys ever want me to react to anything, make sure you guys email me speechlesskp@gmail.com. It's a lot of fun. Speechlesskp@gmail.com. I'd appreciate it if you would let me know what you guys are thinking about all of this. And if there's anything that you want me to react to, like I said, email me speechlesskp@gmail.com. It's right there below. I'd appreciate it. Make sure right now, guys, go share this video with your friends, no matter where you're watching from. I'd appreciate that as well. Go share it with your friends. If each of you share it one place, then it's going to just compound. And we're going to get a lot of people to understand what pandering is, how to identify it, how to stop it. If you guys want to stop, at least we can, or stop pandering, at least in the instances we've talked about so far, vote for who panders less. Because I'm going to tell you, we're going to talk about it. Donald Trump isn't immune from pandering. Every politician does it. It's honestly a small part of the job description. Once again, you got to talk to people and meet them where they're at. To meet them where they're at, sometimes you have to pretend like you care about something a lot more than you really do. And that's pandering. Some of them are just more egregious than others. Like when Kamala literally changes her voice. Seriously, when Kamala literally changes her voice. I can actually, let's find a clip of it real quick. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I'm sure I can find a clip. If I just go on Twitter and I find Kamala voice, let's see. It's got to be pretty close here somewhere, right? Yeah, right here. When she does her accent, maybe we'll do Kamala accent just to be safe. I'll join you guys in on this. Which Kamala accent? Yeah, there's a whole thing here. Which Kamala accent is your personal favorite? Let's go.
Have you no empathy, man?
Yes.
For the suffering of other people. Have you no sense of purpose? Have you no empathy, man?
Jamaican.
Yes.
Go to the next one.
With us in government, we campaign with the plan. Uppercase T, uppercase P, the plan. And then the environment is such that we're expected to defend the plan. Even when the first time we roll it out, there may be some glitches and it's time to reevaluate. And then
French.
Hello to all my divine nine brothers and sisters and my soror.
Got a lot more black in that
And
one.
to all my HBCU brothers and sisters.
Interesting.
Hello. I love you back. I love you back.
Now all of a sudden she's Hispanic.
I love you back.
See, again, Kamala Harris, the queen of pandering, Kamala Harris, the pandering queen. And this is just a perfect example of how she'll go somewhere and to try to get people to connect with her more because she is such an unconnectable person. Like that's the thing is like, you can connect with somebody by simply telling them, by simply saying, hey, oh, like you like this thing. I have an interest in this thing too. Kind of. Let's talk about that. Let's have a conversation about it. Kamala, however, because she really has an interest in one thing, and that's gaining power for the sake of power, she'll tell you whatever you want to hear. She'll tell you she likes Catholics, but then she'll get rid of religious exemptions for abortions. If you're a doctor, then you will have to prescribe an abortion pill if that's what your client wants, if that's what your patient wants. Or in some cases, you might have to perform an abortion under Kamala's America, even if you are a Christian. Because she doesn't care about anyone but herself. Not even a little bit. But that's the pandering queen. Now I want to talk about somebody that might be a little bit different. And this one Might offend some people a little bit, but I don't care. I've never cared. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about all this. If you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. We can have a conversation about it. If you get disrespectful, that's also perfectly fine. I don't really care. I'll just stop talking to you. But there's a big story that happened yesterday, and I think a lot of people weren't talking about it because it seemed kind of inevitable, and some people were probably like, I didn't even know she wasn't anymore. And that's Tulsi Gabbard becoming a Republican. Here's her announcement at the Trump rally. She's obviously been campaigning with Trump. She's been doing a lot of events with people like Tucker Carlson, Trump, and other just Republicans in general. She's been campaigning. I know she was in Illinois campaigning for Republicans at one point when I was still living there. So there's a lot of kind of options for that. But take a look and a listen here at Tulsi Gabbard announcing that she is now becoming a Republican. Let's talk about it.
And it is because of my love for our country, and specifically because of the leadership that President Trump has brought to transform the Republican Party and bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace, that I'm proud to stand here with you today, President Trump, and announce that I'm joining the Republican Party. I'm joining the party of the people, the party of equality, the party that was founded to fight against and end slavery in this country. It is the party of common sense, and the party that is led by a president who has the courage and strength to fight for peace.
Okay. So that was Tulsi Gabbard announcing her transition to the Republican Party. Like I said, coming as unsurprising to a lot of people because she's been, ever since she left the Democratic Party just a few years ago, she has been a little bit more open to Republicans, being more supportive in some ways of Republicans. I just think it's really important to remember a few different things when we talk about this. First, I will see, because there's also a Daily Wire article about this that I'll recognize first, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the implications of this. Because I'll start off by saying, be cautious. Remember, we're talking about pandering today. I want to remind everybody we're talking about pandering. When we talk about Tulsi Gabbard here, think about what I've said about pandering. Tulsi Gabbard joins the Republican Party. Gabbard has gone from running for president as a Democrat to becoming a Republican within just a few short years. Out of the Daily Wire, former Rep. Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat from Hawaii, announced this week that she is now joining the Republican Party after seeing how extreme her former party has become. Gabbard made the announcement with former President Donald Trump at a rally Tuesday evening in Greensboro, North Carolina, a key swing state in the upcoming election. She said that the Democrat Party has become, quote, completely unrecognizable in recent years as it now embraces censorship, open borders, and weaponizing law enforcement under politicians like Vice President Kamala Harris. It is because of my love for our country, and specifically because of the leadership that President Trump has brought to transform the Republican Party and bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace, that I'm proud to stand with you here today. We just heard a lot of that from her. The former presidential nominee left the party in 2022 and has become an independent because of the party's embrace of wokeness, its hostility to people of faith, and its, quote, racializing every issue. She said, quote, I am joining the party of the people, the party of equality, the party that was founded to fight against the end slavery in this country. She said, with Trump on the stage, it's the party of common sense and the party that is led by a president who has the courage and strength to fight for peace. So we stand here today. We have 14 days into the most historic election of our lives. This is now 13 days. As my message to my fellow Americans, regardless of your political affiliation, now is the time for us to stand together to save our country. There's nothing less than that's on the line. A vote for President Trump is a vote for a big open tent party that welcomes people from all backgrounds and all walks of life. That's where my problem lies, everybody. And I hope you stuck with me through all that, because this is the part that's the most important. I'm actually going to change the screen here, bring this up. This is the article that I'm reading off of. A vote for President Trump is a vote for a big open tent party that welcomes people from all backgrounds and all walks of life. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the idea of a open tent party. Because if our party is so open tent, to just let anybody in, then what do we actually believe in? What do we actually believe in? What is the purpose of the party? If there is no ideology behind the party, then what's the purpose of? Is that basically just a fraternity? If you don't know me, I'm fairly critical of traditional Greek fraternities at colleges because I don't believe they actually operate under a common goal. I think it's just a bunch of dudes who pay for friends because they have poor social skills, and then they go get drunk and try to sleep with women. I'm not going to necessarily claim that they're all sexual abusers like people on the left would, but they definitely they don't necessarily adhere to any kind of a moral code, and they don't have any common goal with one another. Even their philanthropy events are half-assed, just so that they can keep their status. But I'm sorry, that's a digression from the point. Tulsi Gabbard is openly admitting, she's saying out here that a vote for a big open tent party, vote for President Trump is a vote for a big open tent party. Why? Look, Tulsi Gabbard back in 2020 was for a $15 federal minimum wage. She was for reparations. She was for student loan bailouts. She was for an end to cash bail. She was for, she pushed a lot of climate crisis propaganda. And she was for a, quote, assault weapons ban, whatever that means. This was Tulsi Gabbard back in 2020. Now, granted, it's 4 years later, and she obviously transferred to being an independent and is now a quote unquote Republican. But just because you claim to be a Republican does not make someone a Republican. Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, for examples. Not to mention the fact that part of the reason why she claims to become a Republican, Tulsi, is for the fact and the idea that the other side has become so bad. The reason to join this side is not because the other side is so bad. That's a Machiavellian approach. Machiavelli said, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's not necessarily true. The enemy of your enemy could still be your enemy. Look, Tulsi, sure, you're welcome to vote for President Trump. You're welcome to vote for the right outcomes, but this is a worry I've had with President Trump. And when we talk about the idea of pandering, I think that to some extent, Tulsi Gabbard panders. I think she does. I don't know how much I don't know what she actually believes in terms of any type of a conservative ideology. She hasn't made that clear. She's made it clear she supports President Trump, but even President Trump has backed off on a lot of his conservative ideology. President Trump has conceded pretty much the issue of abortion, which is abhorrent to me. That's an abhorrent thing to concede. Am I still going to vote for the man? Yes, because he is at least not saying that he's going to take away religious exemption for the issue. But we need to be critical of that. We need to ask ourselves, is that okay? Is that okay? Is that something we want to concede? Now, a lot of people are coming out and they're saying, yay, Tulsi, see, we're the party that will bring people in. We'll be the party that allows people. We're the open tent party, yada, yada, yada. I don't want any of that hippy dippy bull crap. What I want is a conservative stronghold. And sure, if that means talking to people where they're at, meeting with them where they're at and saying, I understand your view of abortion, because I do. I get the brainwash mentality of saying, hey, let's support women. Like, being pregnant is obviously hard. And then not only what's even harder than being pregnant is having a kid after that. It's not easy. I'm not saying it is. But you want to know what is easy? What is easy comparatively is the idea of just killing it. Vacuuming it out, forking over a cool $500, and then pretending like it's no harm, no foul. That's easy. It's also murder. And so when we talk about having a big tent party, I am all for inviting new people to the Republican Party. I'm all for inviting new people to the Republican Party. the more the merrier. But if you're going to come to the Republican Party, if you're a tranny that wants to join the Republican Party, congratulations. Just because you say you're a woman doesn't make you a woman, and you shouldn't be playing in men's sports. But if you want to vote for Republicans, go for it. I'm also going to vote for Republicans that are going to make it so that we don't push or we don't allow this level of delusion anymore, that a man can believe he's a woman or a woman can believe he's a man. She's a man. You get what I'm saying. I'm going to vote for people that recognize the inherent sin that abortion, homosexuality, and the genital mutilation of our children, what the inherent sins that those are. And that's what the Republican Party has been, is, and should be. Because what we will be doing if we succumb to this big tent, open tent party, we are either A, pandering for votes, like hardcore pandering, not just like, oh yeah, like I'm going to pretend like I care a little bit more about this issue, but I still believe all the things I say. Not that kind of pandering. No. We're flat out changing everything for votes. Or B, we are changing the fundamental idea of the party, and it's no longer a party anymore. It's basically just a group of people to hold power. And when you just have a group of people that have no actual common goal other than to hold power, you essentially have an oligarchy at that point. You don't have anybody who's principled. You don't have people that are for the people. How can you be for the people if you don't know what the people want? And you just say whatever they want. That's what an open tent party is. An open tent party is worse than a Republican Party that says it's going to become more liberal on issues. If the Republican Party came out and said, we're going to be for legalizing weed, we're going to stop criticizing homosexuality, we're going to allow children to mutilate their genitals and allow parents to push for that as well. If you had a Republican Party that came out and said that, while I disagree with all of that, absolutely, without question, that is better than a party that claims to be open tent. Why? Because at least there are still principles, there are still rules that govern the ideology of those that would be getting voted for. And this has been my problem with Trump this entire election. Donald Trump has not been sticking to any level of principle. There is no principle in what he said. He has minimum, but then he also at sometimes panders. An example of pandering. Well, it's a good policy. The no tax on tips thing. It's a good policy. I support it. I think it's good. A little bit of pandering. It's kind of pandering because he did it when he was out at a group to a group of servers. He was at a restaurant and to a group of servers, no tax on tips. Came out of nowhere. Bit of pandering. Definitely pandering. Definitely pandering. And so the point of all what I'm saying in this massive diatribe that I've gone on about Tulsi Gabbard and pandering is, one, I think that Tulsi Gabbard, once she left the Democratic Party, was pandering. I think she pandered significantly. I think she left the Democratic Party. She got a lot of support from Republicans, rightfully so, because she came out and said a lot of the right things that the Democratic Party has abandoned a lot of its traditionally liberal values. It seems to represent woke more than it does actual like Democrats or democracy. And that they seem to be more concerned with issues that are not for the people, and rather progress for the sake of progress, the progressivist ideology. And so she came out and said a lot of the right things, got a lot of support from Republicans. And then she was like, I seem to have an audience there. I seem to have people that'll listen to me still. I think I seem to still have a spotlight that I can chase. And I think that's what she did. And I think that's what she's doing. And I'll be interested to see where she goes, because a lot of this seems methodical. If you really think about it, the time, it seems smart. It seems like chess. I gotta be honest. I think that while all of us over here might be playing on chess.com, somehow not Kamala, Tulsi Gabbard is playing like some 3D chess in the idea that what she's been doing, if you kind of look at her timeline, is she's been laying out a really, really good strategy on, she ran for president as the most centrist presidential candidate for the Democrats back in 2020. After being significantly criticized for not going along with the majority of the woke ideology, she then leaves the Democratic Party. She criticizes them from within for the first 2 years of Biden's presidency. Then she leaves the Democratic Party. And then 2 years later, after becoming a lot more friendly with Republicans and conservatives in the movement, attending Republican and conservative organizations, speaking at Republican conservative events against the left, against the Democrats, identifying as an independent. And also, and I don't think this was part of the plan, but it definitely helped, the rise and kind of stagnation of Bobby Kennedy has really helped the idea of an independent wave that leans towards Republicans. And then now she's come to a culmination of all of that in 2024, of which, again, so she had her run for president in 2020, her leaving of the Democratic Party in 2022. Funny how it always happens in serious election years, in federal election years, right? Funny. Then 2024 comes around, she leaves, or then she joins the Republican Party officially. I think that this is a very, very, very smart, and I'm not necessarily saying she doesn't agree with things about the Republican Party. I guess if you are anti-woke, it's great to vote Republican, because Republicans are less woke. There's sectors of the party, though, that I would be very critical of. And now she joins the Republican Party, and I would not be surprised if in 2026, there's one of two options. Either A, she's going to join Trump's cabinet. I would say probably maybe Secretary of Defense, maybe a national security advisor. Something that had to do with her military service in the military, because she was a pretty big anti-war person. So I think that'd be a good place for her. But she'll probably either join the cabinet or she'll run for something, or both. Maybe she'll run for a governorship, senatorship. She's going to hold power somewhere. And so here's really the culmination of all that. If I'm going to summarize all of kind of the idea that again, this is all just thought. Like, I'm not an insider necessarily of Tulsi Gabbard. It's just my observation. But Tulsi ran as a Democrat for president. She thought, maybe I'll bring some common sense to the party, and be the traditional liberal. She quickly found out that that's not really what the party wanted, that she wasn't really even a Democrat anymore. So she became an independent. When she left the Democratic Party and she spoke negatively of them, she got a lot of support from other Republicans. So then she was like, well, maybe this is for me. Maybe the spotlight is good there. And she was like, oh, I'm not going to hold power with Democrats because I just spent a lot of time crapping on them. My only path to staying in politics, to staying as a politician, to staying as an influence is to go to Republican, is to become a Republican. But I can't do it right now because there's a strategy to it in terms of the media, the eyes on her, and utilizing how other people would want to capitalize on those eyes being on her. Because here's what happened. Tulsi Gabbard switches to becoming a Republican at a Trump event. Tulsi Gabbard didn't just post to Twitter all of a sudden, hey, everybody, I'm a Republican now. Everybody was like, cool. Who are you again? No. She's had a very clear media tour for years now with Republicans, to where now she announces it at a Trump campaign event. A Democrat becomes a Republican at a Trump campaign event. That is clearly set up. That is clearly on purpose. Also, not to mention female. And I don't think she actually is white. I think that but she's white passed. She looks like a pretty typical suburban mom. Like that's how she looks. She honestly looks like a pretty typical suburban mom. Where have I said since 2020? If you've been following the show since 2020, when it was just a radio show, where have I said Trump needs to win the most? And it's not just I have said that. This is statistics. The one place that Trump lost significantly in 2020 was white suburban women. So at a Trump campaign event, 2 weeks before the election, you have Tulsi Gabbard, somebody who appeals to white suburban women, leave the Democrat Party and join the Republicans. She is the pandering device of this for the Trump campaign. And it's multi-layered because it's been a pandering scheme for Tulsi to get to where she is so that she can capitalize on her opportunities to become to get the most power out of her situation. And then it was a pandering scheme for Trump. It was a mutually beneficial pandering scheme. And when I say this, I don't mean pandering in the idea of just like, oh, well, it's automatically bad. It's not automatically bad. What's automatically bad is that we shouldn't have an open tent party, that we don't just allow anybody in. We need to still have principles. We can allow anybody in, and they can vote for us because maybe they like our tax policy. Maybe they're economically conservative, but socially liberal. That's fine. But to be, we need to be a party. There needs to be a party that is both conservative fiscally and conservative socially. And the Republicans are set up to be that party. If they don't, they're once again snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Sorry, it's been a long day. I've read a lot. But that's what Tulsi is doing. That's what Trump is doing, is they're pandering. And it's smart. The difference is that it's smart because they're not doing a pre-recorded video that is the most cringy thing ever, sending it to Catholics, and then the next day announcing that they actually don't believe in religious exemption from abortions and telling people that believe Christ is king that they're at the wrong rally. And don't vote for her if you believe Christ is king. No, this is the difference between Republican and Democrat pandering, is that Republicans are smart. Democrats are lazy. I don't want to say they're dumb. Democrats are lazy because they think you're dumb. And so that's why their pandering is lazy. That's Tulsi Gabbard. Welcome to the Republican Party, Tulsi. I just put on notice the idea that we need to be keeping our politicians in check and ensuring to the best of our ability that the Republican Party remains and goes to the future what we believe the Republican Party actually should go to the future as. That makes sense? The Republican Party needs to go where the Republican Party should go. And I firmly believe that's just remaining with a relatively conservative direction. That's what I'd say. In a quick aside, before we get to the next story here, I do want to let everybody know that tonight, my friends from Breakaway USA, David, Kate, and Fabian Garcia, are currently at the Trump rally in Georgia and the Trump event in Georgia. They will be, I believe, if I remember correctly, we've talked about it. It depends on how tired they are. But they will likely join me tomorrow. We'll all be going live, recapping the event, talking about some other things. Maybe we'll talk about the Tulsi thing. I'd like to have a lively debate because I'm sure there are some people out there that are less critical of the move than I am. Do I think that they are dumb or evil? I want clarity on who they are. Because if I'm talking about Democrats, it's kind of that's a really broad generalization to make, dumb or evil, because I'd say some are dumb. Some might be evil. I don't necessarily think all Democrats are dumb or evil. I think that some are, some have just been kind of indoctrinated into it from the beginning. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're dumb. It just means that they're brainwashed, and anybody can be brainwashed. It's not a mutually exclusive thing. We got a lot more to talk about here today. I kind of prepped a lot for this show as much as I could. Still might be all over the place. But pandering, of course, a huge part of everything. And Barack Obama, if Kamala Harris is the queen of pandering, then Barack Obama is truly the king of pandering. Barack Obama won his entire 2 elections on the idea of pandering. I'm a black male. America needs to have its first black president. And I don't understand how all these people, all these black men are going to vote for a guy that hates them when there's a perfectly good woman, black woman, chocolate rain woman that is here and ready on her knees begging like a good Kamala Harris does. For you, black men, to shoot your vote all over her. That's basically what he does. Let's be honest. I know. I don't know if you guys got the very, very not so subtle joke in there about Kamala Harris being sleeping her way to the top, but that was absolutely there. But no, here's Barack Obama. What is today's date? The 23rd. Barack Obama yesterday with probably the least self-aware thing I have heard in a long time. Take a look and listen to this clip of Barack Obama on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris, once again pandering and doing other things. Here's this.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it. And we all have friends like that. We have family members who just like, it's all a circus out there. I get that.
Just one more time. Just one more time.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I
really, Barack Hussein Obama. You don't understand how we got so divided and toxic? You don't understand how we got so divided and toxic. What a stupid, lacking self-awareness thing. Now, I'm not going to claim that Republicans aren't guilty at times of fueling the flames of the fire of division. But come on, Barack. I could bring out a litany of examples of Democrats in some way, if not lighting the match or pouring the fuel, then stoking the flames even further of division. And but I'm going to just come up with primarily Obama examples. Here's one. This is in 2018, obviously after his presidency, during Trump's presidency, a speech that he was giving in Illinois. I think it's like the last 15, 20 seconds that we really need to hear from this. Let's take a look and listen.
Well, Jim Thompson was governor. Got a lot of good Republican friends here in Illinois. But over the past few decades, the politics of division and resentment and paranoia has unfortunately found a home in the Republican Party.
Well, it's our Republicans' fault. So here's at a minimum, if we go back to this clip, I think this is the funniest thing. So if we go back to this clip and we listen to what he says.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and so divided. Well, let's go back to this one more time.
The politics of division and resentment and
the politics of division. So he's saying, I know where the division came from. Where is it?
Paranoia has unfortunately found a home in the Republican Party.
All right. So back in 2018, he knew where the division came from. And now 2024, somehow he doesn't know how we got so toxic. Now, I would argue it's divisive in and of itself to say that it's found a home strictly in the Republican Party. But I honestly, well, that's okay. That I expect from Obama. The funnier thing to me, and the thing that is of more interest, is the fact that he says, I don't know where the division came from. But back in 2018, he seemed to sure know where the division came from. Interesting. Now we can go just even a little bit further than that. We want to talk about division. It's not just Republican-Democrat division to him. No, Barack Obama also divided people significantly based on race. Here's in 2021 when he sat down with Anderson Cooper. Take a look and listen to some of this clip right here.
White Americans to recognize that, look, you can be proud of this country and its traditions and its history and our forefathers. And yet it is also true that this terrible stuff happened and that
White Americans need to realize this. This is only a lecture to white Americans, just as a reminder.
The vestiges of that linger. I also think that there are certain right-wing media venues, for example, that monetize and capitalize on stoking the fear and resentment of a white population that is witnessing a changing America and seeing demographic changes, and do everything they can to give people a sense that their way of life is threatened and that people are trying to take advantage of them. And we're seeing it right now, right? Where you would think, with all the public policy debates that are taking place right now, that the Republican Party would be engaged in a significant debate about how are we going to deal with the economy, and what are we going to do about climate change, and what are we going to do about, lo and behold, the single most important issue to them apparently right now is critical race theory. Who knew that was the threat?
So once again, so now he goes further into how it's Republicans and conservatives, right-wing pundits' fault, but then also think about the implications of what he says, because he's not only blaming in this clip, he's not only blaming right-wing pundits for stoking fear and division and everything. No, he's also blaming white people in general, just like the average white American that seems to lean more conservative. And the way that he does this is because he basically says, and this is a really fascinating thing that you might not catch, and listen for it more often when you hear people talk about, especially race issues, is what he's saying is, so it's right-wing pundits are stoking and stoking fear based on the changing America white people are seeing. Excuse me. And so what he's also saying there is that your average white American is too stupid to be able to look around and discern their own beliefs, and that they take what pundits say to them as fact inherently, and that they don't have any capability of critical thinking, or asking themselves questions, asking other questions, trying to understand the world around them better. No, he's basically just saying it's at the fault of not only right-wing pundits, but also the stupid average white American. That's basically what he's saying. And yet he wants to once again beg the question here.
I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it.
I understand why people don't want to pay attention to it too, but I don't think, I think what he's trying to do here is he's trying to pander. Once again, remember, that word keeps coming up today. It's almost like I planned for it. When the only reason I planned for it is because I saw all these things, and it's all pandering. It is pandering season here in American politics. And what he is saying here, what he is doing is he is pandering. He fully well knows. He knows, because he said it on multiple occasions since 2008, why there's division. Or at least in his head, he has an idea of why there's division. He thinks that it's Republicans and evil Republicans. It's Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is the divisive one. But he comes out here and he speaks like how a lot of other Americans are speaking. But the difference is that he's not genuine about it. A lot of other Americans come out and they say, man, it's like the world is so divisive right now. I just don't want to pay attention to politics because it's so negative. It's so divisive, yada, yada, yada. And so what Obama does is he comes out and he says exactly that, when on multiple occasions he in the past has said Republicans are divisive. White people are divisive. If you had just gotten behind us, if you had actually focused on the economy instead of caring, and then he belittles the idea of critical race theory as if it doesn't diminish and rewrite the history of America. Okay, we can get to that another time. So he's pandering to the American people right here in this speech to the American people. I don't know how we got so divisive. I just wanted to put it out. And what he's really trying to do is, when he says division, because he has said the lie that Republicans and Trump are responsible for division. He said it so many times, time and time again. He has said it. So because he has said it so many times, his audience knows that when he says the word division, they have a word association. As soon as they hear in one ear division, out the other, they hear Trump. or Republicans or conservatives. And so when he says, I don't know how we got so divided. I don't know how we got so divided. I don't know how we got so divided. What he's really saying is, I know Trump is so divisive. I understand you just wanting to shove it out. And then he gets to the end.
It's all a circus out there. I get that.
It's all a circus out there. I get that. And then he's at a Kamala Harris rally. So ultimately, his pitch is vote for Kamala Harris. He's pandering. He knows why he thinks it's divisive. But he's speaking, and this is why Obama is so smart, because Obama is, while Kamala Harris is the queen, she still makes mistakes. Obama is the king of pandering. He's the king of it. Because he'll pander right to your face. Obama won the test constantly. There's a test for coming. I don't know if you guys know this, like the beer test for running for president. The beer test, which is this idea of, if I run for president, is the person running for the president, is the person running for president the kind of person I would want to get a beer with? A lot of times that's the kind of person that people vote for. It's somebody that can relate to. Obama constantly won that because of things like this. He knew exactly how he felt. He knew exactly what he thought, and he always had an opinion. Why? Why did Obama always have an opinion? Because Obama thinks so highly of Obama that his opinion is always right. And so if he didn't have one, he couldn't be right. So the egomaniac, Barack Obama, knows exactly why he thinks it's divisive. He knows everything in his head. But he won't show you his cards. And he'll speak to you like he's one of you. When in reality he is. We're all just men or women. And we're born that way. You can't change it. But he doesn't see himself that way. He doesn't see himself that way. He sees himself above. But he knows he has to come across as if he's just like you. I'm just like you. I'm Barack Obama. And you can have a beer with me. The king of pandering, Barack Obama, everybody. Congratulations. Congratulations, Barack. That's why you won 8 years, is because you absolutely destroyed at the pandering game. You killed it. You absolutely killed it. Now, we've talked a lot in this show today about what pandering is. What is pandering? Who does it? Why do they do it? And how can you stop it? Well, we've talked a lot about what it is. We're going to get to some more things about how can you stop it, how to look out for. And we've talked about how to look out for it. But let's talk about what it's not. What it's not. Pandering is not Trump going to McDonald's and working there for a little bit and doing a photo op. It could have been, but the intention of the panderer, of the potential panderer, the alleged panderer, is important. The intention. Because if you look at the rule statement that we regarded for the beginning of this entire show, the idea of a panderer is something who does something for somebody else. If they fulfill somebody else's desires purely for personal gain. Purely for personal gain. So the intention of it must purely be for personal gain. And they must also have no serious interest in whatever the desire they're fulfilling. So you have two things to fulfill there. They must not have a serious interest in the desire they're fulfilling, and they must also be doing it to fulfill a personal gain. Well, when Donald Trump worked at McDonald's, let's take a look at just some of the videos, and we could try to deduce some of the motive there. Okay. And like how he felt about it, we can understand his mood. We'll take a look at some of these videos. All I did was go on Twitter and find Trump McDonald's. Let's take a look and listen. Well, obviously, many of you knows I usually outline the story before I start. Also, while we're in here real quick, everybody don't forget to like this video, subscribe, comment, share, all that fun stuff. Support the show. I'd really appreciate it. I'm a first-year law student at Liberty University. Kev Phares, host. Thank you for joining. Like, subscribe, comment, share. But back to the show. Donald Trump, here he is at McDonald's. You guys have probably seen a lot of these clips. I think it's really cute. It's really sweet. Take a look.
A lot of fun here, everybody.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Look at all the fake news over there. Hello, everybody.
You can take this,
And
right?
you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Mr.
Compliments
President,
of Trump.
please don't let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep it
Please,
good.
please, please.
We're going to make it better than ever, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Mr.
Compliments
President.
of Trump.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you over there.
Oh my God.
Have a good time.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see
You
you.
too.
Bye,
Nice to
darling.
see you.
Have a good time. Thank you.
Look, either he's the best actor in the world or he's genuine about this. Let's take a look at this one.
Make it back.
Mr. President, you actually have worked at McDonald's now versus.
Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
Are you going to put this on your
I
resume?
never worked here.
Why would you?
I think that's important. Okay, so we talked about the rule statement for pandering. What is pandering? Well, pandering is the idea that you have the intention. Remember, you have the intention only for personal gain. You don't care about the desire fulfilling. You're fulfilling somebody else's desire for the purpose of personal gain with no intention of actually, or no actual care for what the desire is other than for your personal gain. Well, he says here, I've now worked 15 more minutes than Kamala. He clearly had a bit of a personal vendetta, and whether or not you believe it's okay or not, we could have that conversation, but that's not the conversation we're having right now. No, he clearly wanted to do this because it was a little bit of a middle finger to Kamala. Because Kamala claimed that she worked at McDonald's. Why? Kamala claimed she worked at McDonald's to try to pander to working class people. She was like, I'm just like you. I don't know. I'm better Obama and Trump. But Kamala has the most annoying voice in the world. Says, I'm just like you. I worked at McDonald's. I'm a working class girl. He's a billionaire. He doesn't know anything about that. Trump is like, yeah, I am a billionaire. But what he does here is he's basically saying F you to Kamala. You didn't work at McDonald's. There's no record of you working at McDonald's, which is true. There's no record of Kamala Harris ever working at McDonald's, despite the fact that she claims it. Donald Trump now has worked 15 more verifiable minutes than Kamala at a McDonald's. He says he's going to put it on his resume. And what this does, clearly this was part of his intention, it was a bit of a publicity stunt, but it wasn't necessarily purely pandering. He wasn't trying to say, I'm just like you. He wasn't trying to say anything like that. Let's take a look at some of these other ones.
Let's take care of these.
Okay.
This is him cooking some of the fries. Of course, McDonald's fries being quite the delicacy.
Put that right, hang it right up there.
Yeah.
And then you want to do the salt over here?
Yeah.
I did these ones already. They're good. You just got to do that one right there. So grab that.
Let me give them extra salt.
No. Yep. Oh, yep. Good.
Okay.
Right there. And then we're going to grab the fry scoop right here.
Right.
Put it into there and just give them a twirl that way.
Okay. Where's the little thing?
We got to hit that timer. Bring that one up.
Oh,
I'm
you
gonna
guys
take care of
see
these.
that was Donald
Okay.
Trump making the fries at McDonald's. And you want to know a telltale sign of pandering? If someone's pandering, the fake news media will probably go along with it. If it's truly pandering, especially if it's left-wing pandering, because they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, look at it." If it's people on the right and they think if it's people on the right doing something genuine, the fake news media will attack it. And here's an example of that. So he was making fries at McDonald's. Man was literally just making fries at McDonald's. Seemed like it was kind of a in jest FU to Kamala. And the New York Times goes so far as to bring on an expert to say that he made the fries wrong. Seriously, they even brought in an expert, McDonald's employee, to confirm their suspicions. Out of the Daily Wire, former President Trump spent some time at McDonald's franchise in Pennsylvania on Sunday afternoon, largely to troll Vice President Kamala Harris. But the New York Times took the bait too, and the outlet just can't let it go. On Monday, they ran a story that says, quote, he doesn't seem to know how to do it. Let's take a look at this. After Donald Trump served fast food during a campaign shop at a McDonald's, several actual McDonald's workers who examined a video of his performance earned mixed reviews from the workers and patrons alike. The Times spoke to several McDonald's employees who said that, quote, right away, something had seemed to be not quite right with Trump's job performance. The box is like backwards. Another was concerned after seeing Trump had jokingly tossed a pinch of salt over his shoulder when he spilled a little. You don't throw salt like that. Somebody could have been behind him, you know? Oh my gosh. These people are crazy. Like, these people are literally crazy. Man goes to do an obvious photo op. Didn't even lie about it. Like, this was a scheduled event. And that was another thing. Is the media went into an uproar about how, oh my gosh, this is fake. They're like, this was so fake. This fake, he faked working at McDonald's. This wasn't even real McDonald's, blah, 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 blah. Donald Trump's, like, they knew it was staged. Like, you look at this Newsweek article, it was obviously staged. During the campaign stop, I learned Make Phares this on Sunday. The Republican presidential nominee held an impromptu press conference through the drive-thru's window. Trump, known for his love of fast food, used the opportunity to attack Harris over claims the vice president had previously said she worked at McDonald's. However, rumors that it was staged. It was literally scheduled. Like, this was on the schedule. People knew hours, if not even a day before, that he was going to do this. According to a post on Reddit, a signed letter placed on the storefront by Derek, whatever the unit's manager, said, we plan on being closed Sunday, October 20th to accommodate a visit at the request of former President Trump and his campaign. The note ended, I apologize for the inconvenience of closing our restaurant and sincerely look forward to serving you very soon. You could even, I think they might have showed part of the Reddit article here or something. But like, no, this was staged. He didn't hide it either. That's the thing. But once again, does not fit the rule for pandering. And two, what about when AOC goes to the border and fake cries in front of a fake wall? Or all the Democrats in Congress put their African garb on and put their fist up and say Black Lives Matter. They don't claim that any of that's staged. It's not until afterwards. Or what about when AOC puts her hands behind her back when the cops escort her away from a protest to make it look like she's cuffed, but she's not, and that she claims she is? Or what about when AOC claims that she was in the building on January 6th when she was like in the annex across the street? Like, it's only a problem. Again, Donald Trump was not hiding that any of this was staged. Like, his campaign set it up. They were pretty honest about that. They're forthright. But it's a problem because it is serving Donald Trump well. But they'll still, let's take into account, maybe there is a counter argument to this. And if there's anybody who should make it, it's definitely Tim Walz. And so here's Tim Walz on The View earlier this week. And here's what he had to say about this whole incident. Take a look and listen. So my volume is not on. Let me get it back here. Here we go. This is what he had to say about the whole issue.
She actually worked in a McDonald's. She didn't go and pander and disrespect McDonald's workers by standing there in your red tie and take a picture. She actually worked in a McDonald's.
There's been plenty of places that Kamala has just stood and took pictures for the sake of looking like something. And he said that he disrespected McDonald's workers. He disrespected McDonald's workers. Okay. Let's compare that to some more footage of him there. Take a look and listen to this one.
Keep it tight.
Oh, sorry.
You got the salt on it. Never touches the human hand.
Very good. Very
Nice
good.
and full.
Thank you.
Good. Turn it up.
That look like he's disrespecting McDonald's workers? I didn't think so. Does this look like he's disrespecting McDonald's workers? That's him at the game. Does this look like he's disrespecting McDonald's workers? Let's watch this one.
Look at this guy. He's a MAGA guy all the way.
Okay, so for his first order, yup.
And she's training him.
Boy, that's a good-looking group. Hello, everybody. This is not a normal situation, is it, huh? How are you? What a good-looking family. How did you produce those good-looking kids? Oh, they look like the wife. They look like the wife. How are you? Nice to see you. That's great. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. And there'll be no charge. Trump is paying for it. Is that okay? This, oh, you're doing some extra stuff. Oh, okay, this is all on Trump. Oh, all on Trump. I'm allowed to do that, right? Yeah. Let's check and make sure it's everything you said it would be. It better be. It's going to be the best you ever. I made it myself. You're the man. Make America great. That's your order. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good time. Have a good time. That's great, isn't it? How cute is it? Car. Okay, next car.
Yes, they get both things.
You like them both at the same time?
Yes, that is right.
I think I'm back.
Hello, how are you? You're good looking.
But you guys get the gist. That's my computer camera right there. Hello, everybody.
Thank you very much. I will.
Let's fix this here.
I promise. Thank you very much. That's on me. Okay? Have a good time. Thank you very much. I'll see you at the White House.
And we're back. And we're back. But you guys see there, obviously Donald Trump did a phenomenal job. So this is what happens when I do my show from my apartment like this. I got a little tripod here. Obviously, it's having some issues. We're going to set it up a little bit differently there to do the best we can. Thank you guys for sticking with me on that. Sorry for the little interruption that we had right there. But no, you guys see, does that look non-genuine to you? Does that look like he's disrespecting McDonald's workers to you? To me, it does not. To me, it does not. And we're still fixing this here. Thank you guys for bearing with me on this. There we go. It seems as though that should be okay set up here. Whew. No, he's obviously not disrespecting McDonald's workers even a little bit. He was there because, one, guy loves fast food. Remember when the government was shut down and he invited any of the football players there, like the Super Bowl winners or whatever, and he had him at the White House and he served McDonald's, and the media like destroyed him for that too. They were like, "Oh my gosh, he's insane. He's so rude." And the guys loved it. If you watch the videos, they loved it. They loved it. He's got that. Kamala claims she worked at McDonald's. She didn't. And yet they'll still claim, Tim Walz and the lamestream media will still claim that he's somehow pandering. This is not an example of pandering. This is not an example of pandering. You could make an argument that it could be. If in any way he was trying to make a speech about how I'm obviously for the working class. I'm obviously for the working class. You could see I even work at McDonald's. Then yeah, it would be pandering. But no, that's not what he talked about at all. What he talked about was Kamala never worked at McDonald's a day in her life. I've worked 15 more minutes than Kamala. This was an attack ad. He basically just made an attack ad. It was a great one. It was hilarious. I got a hate comment in here. I am a moron, a really stupid one. Well, John, you're cute. You're cute. You're such a cute guy. At least it also looks like you're from Kentucky. I could tell by the shape of the state behind you in PACS, in your profile picture. And what I will tell you too is, John, please, your redundant language is what annoys me the most about this. Call me a moron. Call me stupid. You're unoriginal in what you have to say, but also, if I am a moron, which I'm not, but if I am, that would also imply that I have a pretty extreme degree of stupidity. And then you follow up calling me a moron by saying I'm a really stupid one, which is redundant and pointless. You could have used the entire second half of that to come up with a better insult. But instead you wasted your time, your energy, your breath by being a moron. So Thank you for tuning in, John. And for anybody like John out there, or if you might be a kinder and more intelligent, then please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends. Pandering is what we have. There's even one more person. So you guys might have heard also that that Elon Musk is giving away $1 million to people that that sign his petition. It's like a raffle for it or something. I don't know all the terms of it. Might be pandering. I'm not analyzing that. What I want to analyze is AOC. AOC was at like a town hall. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was at like a town hall, and she accuses Elon Musk of making fun. Once again, this is just like what Tim Walz had to say. Let's take a look and listen at what AOC had to say at this little event that she went to and spoke at. Take a look and listen right here.
Elon Musk coming in here. I mean, we got to talk about what this guy's doing, right?
What is this guy doing?
He's not only just dumping millions and millions of dollars here in the state of Pennsylvania, acting like he's from here, acting like he knows what Pennsylvania is about. It's not just what he's doing. He's doing these little, these little contests where he's promising people $1 million, in some kind of lottery giveaway if they.
To be clear, also, by the way, is AOC. Come on, you can't criticize somebody giving away free money. Isn't that basically what you want to do? You want to just take his money so that you can be the one to give it away. What's the difference?
Sign up for his list. And I want us to put together what those two things are like. When you have a billionaire just dangling $1 million to those of us and many of us who are struggling to make ends meet if they dance for him.
They're not asking him to dance, he's asking him to sign a petition.
You've got Donald Trump.
I'd dance for $1 million too, and I wouldn't be degraded about it. I would be like, yeah, I want that $1 million.
Putting on a little McDonald's costume because he thinks that's what people do.
People do put on, it's not a costume to them, it's their uniform, but they put on an apron. It's a health code.
They're not trying to empathize with us. They are making fun of us.
I think who they're making fun of is you, AOC.
They are making fun of us.
You're not a working class person. Okay, that's the other thing too. Okay, be honest with yourself, AOC. You're so far, you've been in office now like 8 years, 10 years. I don't remember exactly the year she got elected. Maybe it was 2016, I think it was 2016, maybe even 2014. I think it was 2016. 8 years, been in office. You make your first term as a congressperson $174,000 a year. And you don't even work the full year. Look, you might have been a bartender at one point, and you might still have your knowledge of good policy might still be that of just a bartender talking with a customer. However, AOC, the amount of work you do and the salary of which you're paid to do it is not that of a blue-collar individual.
Donald Trump thinks that people who work at McDonald's are a joke. Elon Musk thinks that dangling money in front of a working person is a cute thing to do when the election of our lives is before us. Because that's what people and billionaires like that.
So I've already refuted a lot of the Donald Trump stuff, but I want to listen to the Elon Musk stuff one more time because I think that's really important about this pandering that she's doing here.
Elon Musk thinks that dangling money in front of a working person is a cute thing to do.
Is a cute thing to do. Dangling $1 million in front of a working person is a cute thing to do. Okay. I could say pandering. I'm actually not going to, because I don't want to go through the whole rule statement or anything, because I have other things to get to in this live. But what I want to be clear about is, AOC, that is exactly what you do. One more time. Listen to it one more time.
Donald Trump thinks that people who work at McDonald's are a joke.
Not that part.
Elon Musk thinks that dangling money in front of a working person is a cute thing to do.
Elon Musk thinks that dangling money in front of a working person is a cute thing to do. That's exactly what you do, AOC. That is exactly what you do all the time. All of your ideas, your socialist ideas in terms of the economy, and what you want to do is you want to tax people more and redistribute the wealth. And then you tell people, and then not only that, you tell people, we're going to get you reparations if you're a black or brown person or an indigenous person. We're going to give you all these things. We're going to give you your health care. We're going to give you all of this. All you are doing is, instead of using your own money, you are dangling other people's money in front of working class people. And you think it's cute. You're a hypocrite, AOC, in like the worst of ways. Because the way in which you're a hypocrite, your side is the worst side. Entirely. So that's AOC in her attempting to slam Trump as and Elon Musk as panderers. And it's just absolutely, it's crazy to me. It is crazy to me. The level of idiocy exhibited by her. We got more we're gonna cover here. That's the pandering. That's pandering, everybody. We see pandering all over in the last few weeks prior to the end of this election. You will see more and more and more and more pandering. And it won't get better until after the election. I mean, you guys will see all the different texts that you'll get. You'll see everything. And so to kind of close out this show, I have a few different things. Some of them of which are ones that I started watching and stopped for the purpose of making sure that I could actually fully react to it. But I have reactions, everybody. I do have reactions we're going to talk about today, and I'm pulling them up on my screen right now. Got some fascinating TikToks, some of which are about the election, others of which I do not know because, like I said, they were sent to me. So we got a few different things we're going to cover here. And we're going to start off with this one. I found this one was one I scrolled past on Twitter, and just the caption on it seemed interesting to me. So let me share my screen here. Here's some TikTok reaction videos with Kev. Reactions with Kev. Everybody, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. Let's get to it.
I was at work last night. I'm a waitress. I was waiting on a couple, man and woman, presumably husband and wife. I bring them their drinks, and the woman says, I know who you're voting for, in like this sing-songy voice. And I look at her, because like, who have you been talking to? But also, I wasn't even really sure she was talking to me because it was such an odd question. So I just walk away without saying anything. So I bring them their food. I come back to check on them to make sure they like everything. And the woman says, only a month left. I bet you're excited. And once again, I'm like, are you talking to me? Because there's no context here. Like, I don't know what she's talking about. So then they're paying their bill. The man pulls out his credit card to pay the bill. And then he says, hold on, I want to make sure I have cash because I want to tip you in cash. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And the woman says, only a month left until you don't have to pay taxes on tips anymore. And I'm like, okay, now I get what's going on here. So I kind of shrug it off and I'm like, oh, well, to be honest, if Donald Trump wins, I have no confidence that he would ever influence Congress to introduce a bill to eliminate taxes on tips. And she says, oh, don't worry about that. He's going to get rid of all them anyway. And I'm like, the United States House of Representatives?
Okay, so far this story already sounds fake. I don't believe it. Along with the fact that you don't have confidence. Okay, even Kamala adopted the no tax on tips policy idea. So, like, I actually, if there's anything, I believe that even if Trump had a split down the middle house, I believe he could influence at least the no tax on tips policy, because even Kamala supported it. Like, I think he could actually. That would be one thing that I think he really could do, but okay.
So then she's like, oh yeah, he's going to get rid of all of them. He's going to restructure the entire government. And they haven't actually tipped me yet. So I'm just like, okay. So then she starts to look annoyed with me and she says, you act like you want to pay taxes. And I'm like, I don't mind paying taxes as long as they're equitable and fairly proportionate to my income. And, I actually get something out of them. And
I doubt, okay, this is just like, this whole story seems completely fabricated, completely made up.
I find it really odd to think that I would be coming into work, walking past the kitchen, walking past the chefs, the dishwashers, and they pay taxes and I don't. Like, how do you justify that? And then she says, don't question it. Do not question him. And I just stare at her because I'm like, what did you just say? And then she says, I think he has a plan. Just trust it. And then she gets up and they start to leave. Is this a cult?
Okay, first off, I don't believe that happened. I don't believe that happened. Anybody who does say don't question it, you're crazy. But okay, let's also talk about the other side, though. Kamala supporters, ask them what policy they believe in. What policy of Kamala's do you actually believe in? If they can give you concrete policy that has nothing to do with Trump, that Trump has not mentioned even once, then I'd be very, very surprised. Who's more of a cult? The people that they can at least name that there's a policy he has, these fictitious people that don't actually exist. I don't believe this story happened for a second. I don't believe it. It sounds like something. It sounds like a story that a liberal would make up to be like, what's a story that we could make up to make it look like MAGA is a cult that sounds mildly believable? That'd be that story that she just told. Fun bedtime story, but I don't believe it for a second. Next. Okay, this one was sent to me by somebody who watches the show. Let's take a look and listen. This is some girl. It says oh God, go full screen on this. What I eat in a day as a 260-pound fat and beautiful woman. We'll see about that.
What I eat in a day as a 260-pound fat woman. First, I had 2 applesauces with a Kool-Aid jammer.
Okay. All of this so far, I am pretty sure she's like 6 years old.
A slice of pizza and 2 breadsticks with some Coke. Another piece of pizza.
Can we go back and see how there's no... Oh, it looks like there might have been at one point. I don't really see any ice in this Coke. That's a problem to me. If you drink your Coke uniced, you're a Satan worshiper.
With some Coke, another piece of pizza, Kool-Aid jammer and Muddy Buddies. A fun time.
What a weird snack combo. Kool-Aid jammer and Muddy Buddies. What are these things? Quickies? If you told me you were having a quickie in the car, that's not what I would think you were talking about.
I'm sucker, a large fry, a large Dr. Pepper with no ice.
No ice? Yes, she doesn't drink ice with her stuff. That's disgusting. That's honestly like the worst thing about all this.
A bacon McDouble, which hit the spot. An orange pop. More Muddy Buddies. Their Kool-Aid to get away from pop.
Okay. Okay. What I will say, here's one thing. So another Kool-Aid to get away from pop. At first, when I first heard that, I was like, that's not better. But this is a 0 sugar Kool-Aid. So still not great for you, but like 0 sugar beverages, if you're looking to lose weight purely just to lose weight, good on her for that. I'll give some credit where credit's due.
From pop, Neapolitan ice cream sandwich, and French toast bites.
Okay, those French toast bites though.
Neapolitan ice cream sandwich and French.
Those look pretty good. Those I'd eat those. Those look pretty good. And Neapolitan ice cream sandwich on occasion as a treat. But once again,
toast.
I think the big. Okay, so the fat and beautiful woman. Here's the thing: is even she recognizes in this. This is where my problem lies. I would have a certain level of respect. Now, I lack respect for anybody who brags about this level of gluttony. Like, to me, that's like that. If you're bragging about that level of gluttony, it's kind of gross. But for somebody who is shameless, completely shameless about their gluttony, to some extent, I'm like, you're living your happiest life. And if that's what makes you happy, I would say, like, you need to treat your, 1 Corinthians says, treat your body like a temple. I would recommend that rather than what you're doing. But who am I? Judge not, lest ye be judged. I'll call you out on your gluttony. But if you're not making it my problem, if you're not making it so that I have to pay for your extra seat on a Southwest flight, if you're not telling me that I need to accept you, then that's perfectly fine. But at face value, while it might seem as though she is not having any shame, you can see the insecurity she has in herself by, in all caps, and beautiful woman, She doesn't say like, I don't fit the conventional standard of beauty, but when I look in the mirror, I love how I look. No, she doesn't say that. She's got to force in your face that she's beautiful. And then we get to this point where
An orange pop, more muddy buddies, their Kool-Aid to get away
from pop, 0 sugar, and to get away from pop. So she forces the and beautiful down your throat. And she's obviously very knowledgeable about what it's like shoving things down throats. And then she forces the and beautiful down your throat. And then she also slides in there that she is trying some things for health, to work on health. And that's staying away from pop and having a 0 sugar beverage. So she's not shameless, which to her, what I would say is stop posting things like this. And with the time that you're taking to film, post, and edit these, go on a walk. Not even go to a gym. Not anything like that. Go on a walk. Go on a walk. Even if you want to take your Muddy Buddies while you're on the walk and you want to eat them, just start there. Start with the walk. That's what I would recommend. I think that would be your best course of action to start off. But that's that girl. Let's go to this next one. Another one that somebody sent me. This looks, what is that thing? Judge not lest you be judged. Let's try to be nice. Okay. Here's this one.
I do have a 401k.
How much is in there?
32,000.
Okay, well that's good.
It's about to get split in half.
Oh, you're going through a divorce, aren't you?
It just finished last week.
Oh, okay.
It's gnarly. My legal fees are in the low 20,000s.
Good for your lawyer.
The divorce went on for a year and a half.
Wait, why was this so divisive?
So I'm transgender. Why?
What?
My ex-wife.
I love that. Wait.
Just and a half.
Wait, why was this so divisive?
So I'm transgender. Why?
What?
What?
My ex-wife decided to get my child across the country.
Your ex-wife decided, I got distracted. Your ex-wife decided to do what?
My ex-wife decided to kidnap my child across the country. Started. Yeah, when I started hormones, she ran off across the country with my kid.
That's not kidnapping. That is taking them out of a dangerous situation.
And you started transitioning.
She lied just long enough to establish residency in Tucson, and then I got served with divorce papers because I
so
couldn't.
You went to Tucson.
Yeah, because we live in Michigan.
Okay. Well, I'm from there, so I would escape Michigan as well, but I don't think you're.
He's kind of siding with that. Yeah. So that's hilarious. That is hilarious. So this person's getting divorced and claims that the wife kidnapped. No. The wife did not kidnap anything. The wife got the children out of a dangerous situation. Let's look. OMG. So his ex-wife made him turn into an ex-wife. That's funny. Salute, just passing through. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. I appreciate it. Reckless Ray, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining, and tell your friends too. Don't forget to share this video. I would run too, man. I would run. Man, look at that. Let's give this the full effect. Let's watch it. that laugh, that really uncomfortable laugh. There's that was, oh my God. My ex-wife decided to kidnap my child. Oh my God. Oh, what a whiny individual. That's hilarious. That was a good one. Thank you very much to anybody who sent that to me. Let's go on to this one. This is starts out with Trump or Kamala. I like these ones.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala. I like her, and I'm a Democrat.
Great reason to vote for somebody.
And why do you like her?
Because she will be a good female president, and
that is the best reason I've heard.
I would love to have a good female president for the U.S.
And what do you think she'll do good for our country?
I have that question too, but I want to be clear. This is like, I know a lot of people hate on it. And this is not me saying it is a good reason to vote for Kamala, but I would say that it is the best reason to vote for Kamala. And it was given right here. This is the best reason, not a good reason, but the best reason you should vote for Kamala Harris. If you are voting for her, this is your best reason for voting for her.
She will be a good female president, and I would love to have a good female president for the U.S.
So I wouldn't say she's a good female president, but the reasoning of she will be a female president, best reason to vote for her. Not a good reason to vote for anybody, but if you want a good if you want the best reason to vote for Kamala, it is that she is a female. And that's basically what this individual just said.
And what do you think she'll do good for our country?
She'll actually help our country more than Donald Trump would.
Now that's the reason that I usually hear is, well, she's not Trump.
Do, because she is smart and she's more reliable.
And what do you think are some exact things she'd do?
She'll do lower income and lower taxes.
So
she'll do lower income.
Lower everyone's income?
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
That is a good thing.
What do you think about Donald Trump?
That actually sounds like an action, but like even I'm willing to bet there's actually like Kamala voters that know, because I don't think this woman knows that what she just said. I'm not. I don't think this woman knows what she just said was that she would lower everybody's income. I don't think she knows what that actually means. But I think that there's probably a Kamala voter out there. Yes, she would lower your income because she would tax it so that we could afford healthcare and Social Security benefits and universal basic income and like blah, 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 blah. So I think that's I think even I don't want to say smart, but a more knowledgeable Kamala voter would argue.
Trump.
Donald Trump is the worst president in the whole wide world.
How come?
The whole wide world. He's the worst president in the whole wide world. Sounds like a 4-year-old.
Because he hurt the Capitol building and he started World War III.
Started World War III. He started World War III. Oh my God. These are people that actually get to vote. These are real people that actually get to vote in the election. Real people that actually get to vote in the election. Speaking of people that get to vote in the election, here's the last one I have for today. This is I believe is MSNBC. So MSDNC reporter talking to students and young people about why they're voting for who they're voting for, things they would talk to the candidates about, things like that. Let's take a look at this.
If you were to ask Vice President Harris a question, what would it be?
I think I would ask her, how soon do you think we can get the Equality Act passed?
How soon do you think we get the Equality passed? Oh my God. This looks like gay Eric Cartman. How soon do you think we can get the Equality Act passed? How soon do you think we should get the Equality Act passed? Let's see. See you guys. I'm going home.
How about Donald Trump?
I would ask him, do you see me as a human?
Oh.
Do you see me as a human? Oh my God. Oh my God. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Do you see me as a human? What is the reporter? There's still 12 seconds left of this. What does the reporter say to this? Staring at each other.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, the reason why I'm laughing, in the event you're wondering, the reason why I'm laughing is because what a brainwashed question that is. I would bet every dollar of my debt that is going to law school right now that Donald Trump sees that person as a human. I bet all of that, and then all the earnings I have in my future, that Donald Trump sees that person as a human. What a stupid question. What a dramatic question. Melodramatic question. Like, do you want course on I don't take you seriously? How to not have anybody take you seriously 101? Ask a question like that. When your teacher said when you were in grade school that there were no dumb questions, they lied because that was a dumb question. You can ask Donald Trump anything. Anything. Do you see me as a human? Yes. Next question. Easy. Easy answer. Yes. And frankly, the question itself, a little uncomfy, because I, of course, see you as a human. You're standing right in front of me. You know, I had these lawsuits. Somebody came to me. They said I didn't have standing. And I said, what the heck are you talking about? I'm standing right here. And now you're standing right there as a human. What would you be if you're not a human? What are you, a ghost? Maybe Casper? Are you a friendly ghost? How did you die if you're not a human? What else would you be if you're not? What a stupid question. What a stupid, stupid question. And these are people that are allowed to vote. And speaking of other stupid people that are allowed to vote, George here says, my page is off his list. If you can't give useful information, find something else to do. I believe I gave a lot. I have an hour and 45 show that I just had. I think that somewhere in there, George, if you watched the whole thing, if you took the time to watch the whole show, you'd find at least a little bit of useful information. I talked about the headline a lot. I talked about it a lot ad nauseum. This is the end of my show. I have fun. And so, George, it is not my fault that you didn't do your due diligence. And if you don't want to come to my, if you don't want to actually do my show and what I do on my channel, for anybody out there, in case you're wondering, what I do on my channel is not only completely up to me, but I also ask you what you want me to do. And so if you want useful information, I believe I give it the whole time. But if you have any comments, critiques, criticisms, or you even want me to talk about something specific, you can email me directly. I don't have an assistant or anything. I produce my own show. I got a computer right there, and I got a computer right there. I got my own mic, my flag, my own little light. I produce it all myself. And you can email me, speechlesskp@gmail.com, and you can say, hey, Kev, I'm George. Please provide me some useful information. Here's some useful information, George. You can email me at speechlesskp@gmail.com, and you can tell me whatever you want. It's perfectly fine with me. And you can leave me more comments. I don't care. You can also like this video. Seems like you didn't. But if you did, you can like it. You can subscribe to the channel. Maybe eventually you'll get to some useful information. Silly Georgie. You can comment what you think, which you already did. But you can leave like normal comments too that stay there forever. Carl, man, that's bad take, Carl. I want to know what you would have to say about everything else. Carl, please watch the portion of this video. I'll put chapters in here later. But I want you to watch the portion of the video in which I talk about why Tulsi is or could potentially be a Trojan horse of sorts. And I'd appreciate your feedback. Let me know in the comments section. I might even cut it up, make it its own video on my channel. And to make sure you don't miss a minute of it. Carl, I do appreciate you tuning in. As mean as I can be to some people at sometimes. I love you. I love George. George, I'm sorry if I was mean to you. I'll bring that comment up on screen. George, I love you. No gay. Carl, of course, Trump 2024. There we go. Good job, Carl. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We like Carl here. We all like Carl. Thank you, Ryan Mack, for tuning in. Thank you, Demon Goral. Thank you, Night Owl. I saw this earlier. Alex Rodriguez, thank you for joining. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Of course, always like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. God bless you guys. God bless America. And until next time, thank you so much for tuning in to Speechless.